home of horror podcast, home of horror, the home of horror podcast, What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I am your host, John, and it is super duper hot in my studio right now. Most of you know I live in Maine. It's about 82 degrees right now. We're getting jumping right into summer. Before we get started, I want to say like and subscribe to the channel, please. Comment on all the videos and stuff and like them. Get that algorithm going. I would really appreciate that. Speaking of hot, today I'm just jumping in. I don't exactly know how long I'm going to do this podcast. I don't, usually I do try to keep it under 40 minutes. I don't know how long this one's going to be. Might be even shorter. I just wanted to come in here and talk about this movie that I'm because this movie was so good. I watched this movie last night. Firestarter, the new Firestarter movie, 2022. Based on the Stephen King novel, obviously. It also had the first adaptation was in 1984. We all remember that with Drew Barrymore. But I wanted to come in here and talk about this movie. I just watched it last night. I didn't even plan to. It was super late. It was already like 9 o'clock at night, and I was like, you know what? I want to put on one more movie. I threw it on Peacock, and I noticed Firestarter was on there. I didn't even know it was coming out on Peacock. I didn't know it was releasing. It's in theaters literally today. I watched it on Peacock last night. And I wanted to come in here and do this podcast, this episode, which is 39, by the way. I think we're on 39, I think. I just wanted to jump in here and I almost did this last night because I was that amped about this movie. I was just so surprised. I was so surprised, man. And I just knew I wanted to talk about it with someone. Me and my wife both watched it. We were both blown away. I was like, this is the sleeper of 2022 so far. Like, definitely the surprise of 2022. And I think everybody would be like, well, X was so good, and it was really good. I think X is probably the best movie of 2022 right now as far as horror goes. But this movie was a surprise. It was a big surprise to me. Obviously, I had seen a little bit about it here and there. I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, ZAC EFRON in a horror movie, and it looked fine. It was just like nothing I was like bugging out about, So I decided to throw it on last night, and man, I was just blown away. I don't know what it was. It was just that good. It was that good. The story was great. It was about like an hour and 40 minutes, I think. But it just flew by. Almost 2 hours just flew by with this movie. It started off hot and it just kept going. Now the original, I don't love that movie. I think it's good, but I'm not in love with it or anything like that. Yeah, ZAC EFRON played Annie McGee, the dad. If you guys don't know too much about Firestarter, it's basically about these two people that when they're in their college days, they get tested on in a lab with this drug called Lot 6. And basically what it does is gives them, it kind of gives, it tests their powers of telekinesis and all these types of powers that they have, and it makes them stronger, and it all this kind of stuff. But basically what happens is two of these subjects, quote unquote, meet and they fall in love and they get married, and then they have a kid. And then this kid, since both the parents have taken this Lot 6 drug by this company called The Shop, they make pretty much this perfect specimen of a baby who gets all their powers and becomes has what they call, I think it's pyrokinesis. I think that's what they call it. I think that's what Stephen King called it in the book anyway. So basically she can control fire and create fire with her mind. So I don't want to go too much into detail about the plot and all that stuff. I just want to talk about overall about this movie. I don't want to give really anything away. I just want to talk I'm in my feels, guys. I'm in my feelings about this movie. I really thought it was that good. It doesn't rival, but it like felt like a Doctor Sleep type of movie, you know. Obviously not as intricate and not as much, you know, effects and things like that, but it just felt like a really solid film. Zac Efron did great as the father. Um, Ryan Kiera Armstrong plays Charlie. Her name is the girl, the daughter, and she does a fantastic job. I don't even know if she's anything else. I gotta look that up. I don't think I've ever seen this girl before. She's obviously very young. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm sure she's been in like a few things here. Nothing too crazy. Black Widow was probably the other biggest thing that she was in, but nothing huge. And then Sydney Lemon plays the mother, and then Michael Grey Eyes plays John Rainbird, who is the main antagonist of the movie. Um, yeah, I mean, this movie was just killer, dude. I was just so surprised at how good it was. And it just came out of left field, man. It was kind of like X in the sense that, you know, not the plot or anything like that, but like I feel like X we got like a little bit of a trailer and then like all of a sudden it was just out in theaters, right? There wasn't like this huge hype for it and stuff like that. Same thing with this. There was just really no hype. The trailer came out a couple months ago. Um, so I was like, yeah, it's our, you know, it's probably gonna be okay. But they've already done the movie once. You know, it's like when they did Carrie, and then they did Carrie the readaptation with Grace Moretz. I mean, and it was okay. There wasn't a lot of hype around that movie either. They do like these readaptations of these novels, you know, from Stephen King's movies. I mean, his novels almost all have been done, and now, but they were all done, you know, in the '70s and '80s and early '90s. So now they're like starting to remake them again. Um, but this movie was, in my opinion, maybe you guys feel differently. This movie was better. It was better than the original. I know Drew Barrymore, you know, and people love that, but this movie was just, there was something about it. It was special. I knew from the second I started watching it that it was going to be special. And the other thing that made this movie special was the score, the soundtrack. This was all composed by John Carpenter and his team. And it just fucking blew me away. Blew me away. It sounds very much like a John Carpenter film. You know, it sounds like Halloween 2018. It has that same type of vibe. You know, the keys and everything and the low bass and sub bass and stuff in the score. And it was done by him. I think it was his son as well. I think it's the same team that did Halloween Kills in Halloween 2018. And it just blew me away. The music was perfect, man. It was so good. It just brought me into the movie that much more. Like I can't even explain it. Like hopefully, you know, I'm really trying to leave this spoiler free. If you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I guarantee you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to go watch it. And if you don't love Firestarter, the story, or whatever, just really pay attention to that score because at this point, guys, I'm gonna take a sip before I say this because this might be controversial. At this point, I don't know, and I'm being dead serious. Hot take. I don't know if I like. I don't know if John Carpenter's a better filmmaker or a better composer at this point. Or maybe I should word it as I don't know if I like John Carpenter, the filmmaker, or the composer more. I really don't. I mean, this guy's done amazing films, obviously, and most of the films he composed the music. So, I mean, obviously, the Halloween theme, right? Amazing. The original. But then you have when he did The Fog. The Fog, one of the best parts of the original Fog movie is the soundtrack. It was fucking awesome. The score is great in that movie. Halloween 2018. The one reason that movie stood out to me was the score. Halloween Kills scores kind of the same as Halloween 2018, obviously, and I'm sure Halloween Ends will be just like that. And then this movie, and I mean, I'm sure he's done. I think he's composed other scores as well for probably other movies and his own. But I think he might have done, or did he direct Christine? I think he directed Christine. He might have done the score for that too, though. But this movie, the score was special, very, very special, and I think it comes out. I don't think the soundtrack on vinyl does. I don't think it comes out till October, but I am 100% fucking buying that because it was incredible, man. It just sucks you right into the movie, which is what the score is supposed to do. I mean, film and music go hand in hand, right? Truly amazing. And I was just like, I wasn't like on the edge of my seat or anything. It wasn't like it was that type of story. I know the story of Firestarter. So I understood what was going to happen. You know, I understood a lot of that. And it still brought me in. But so I wasn't like on the edge of my seat or anything, but I was just blown away. I was just so surprised. I know I keep using that word, but I really was. I mean, I was so surprised at how good the movie looked. The fire looked great. It seems like they used a lot of real fire as well. But how good Zac Efron was. I mean, he wasn't spectacular, but I don't think he was supposed to be. I mean, he's not the main character of this film. He's the co-star. It's really the daughter that's the star of this film, and she does phenomenal, man. She does so good. Yeah, but Zac Efron did great as the father, as Andy McGee. He was perfect. He was just exactly what I was a little worried about that. I was like, oh, Zac Efron's gonna be like, not that I don't like Zac Efron or his acting. It's just like in a horror movie, it was kind of like, maybe I don't know, but he did great. He did phenomenal. He, you know, obviously, if you know the story, his character has, you know, something he calls the push. I don't want to go into that too much in case you don't know the story that well, but I don't want to give too much away. But you know, he just did such a great job. Yeah, I mean, I was just really blown away, guys. I don't know how to explain it more. I just wanted to come on here and talk about it more. I really did that so much. I liked it. And I'm curious to see what everybody else's thoughts are because maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm like overreacting. I don't know. I just thought it was a really well told story. And just looked good. The ending was good. Um, the script was good. The screenplay was really well written. There's some great lines in there. Um, yeah, some great taglines that I think are gonna blow up. And yeah, overall the cast was just great. Who was this directed by? Let me check this out because obviously I'm talking about John Carpenter so much, but I really should be, you know, handing it off to the writers and to the producers and directors of this. I think it's a Blumhouse movie. I'm pretty sure. And you know, I've always said that they've been hit or miss with me, but lately I think they've just been fucking crushing it, man. They've just been crushing it. All right, Firestarter here. Let's see. Director is Keith Thomas. So yeah, I mean, was this a Blumhouse? I'm pretty sure it was, man. Distributed by Universal. Um, what else did Keith Thomas do here? Not much, man. The Vigil, which I think people liked, but I mean, that's it, dude. Like, so this is a breakout movie. I feel like I really do. Um, I want to say, it's Blumhouse, dude. Let's just make sure. Yeah, it definitely is. Of course it is. Of course it is. Um, just killer, man. If this would be a movie worth going to see in theaters, by the way, I didn't. I saw it on Peacock because I just like I said, I was so surprised. I just fucking was like, oh, we'll throw it on. Maybe it's good. If it's not that good, I'll just go to bed. And I was just hooked. And then I couldn't go to bed after. I was like, fuck. Now I can't go to bed. I just want to talk about this movie. It was great, and I hope that there's other people out there that liked it too. Um, I just had so much fun. Um, if you guys liked this movie, let me know in the comments. Get that algorithm going, like I said. Like this video if you like the movie. Even if you didn't like the movie, let me know in the comments as well. Let me know what you did or didn't, you know, what you did like or what you didn't like, or why it was a good movie, why it was a bad movie. You know, maybe I'm just overreacting. I feel like I almost am because like I was just so, maybe I was just caught off guard that much, but I really enjoyed this, man. And I don't know if I was supposed to enjoy it that much, you know? maybe it was just kind of a money grab. But now that I saw it, it really doesn't feel that way. It really feels like it was a well thought out movie, well planned movie, and they just didn't really put out there too much hype, and sometimes that's a good thing because people get overhyped, and then 'cause the trailer doesn't show much. I didn't see too much of the movie in the trailer, so like same thing with Ty West's X when he did that. They didn't show you too much, and we got to get back to that. You know what I mean? We got to get back to doing that kind of stuff because we give too much away in trailers of these big blockbuster movies, just way too much. But anyway, thank you guys. This is a shorter episode. It's probably like 20 minutes maybe. But I really appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. Let me know, like I said, what you think about this movie. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Right now, you can go. I want to just throw this out there. Our short film Worm is out now on the Trauma Now app. The Trauma team, they put out Toxic Avenger, all those great movies. It's out now on their streaming app called Trauma Now. You can go watch it. It's $4.99 a month, but your first month is free. So make sure you guys go check that out. We're still working on our new film as well, and that's we're going to start filming here pretty soon in the summer. We've filmed a little bit here and there, but we're going to really get going here pretty soon. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys have a great night. See you later. Home of horror, the home of horror podcast. Home of horror, the home of horror podcast. So that's your